Done, yeah. 5%.
Well, wrong
Do that all the time.
A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286 on a. Oh, look, there's a little bit of blue sky. David's just told me it is 100%. Good evening, Patricia and David with you on this not very pleasant night in New Zealand, but it will be very different with you temperature-wise. Although we do have a northerly wind, 5 knots it is here. Well, it's actually 10 knots, really.
It's 40 out there.
It's about 40 outside, but we're quite protected here. And it's giving us a very nice 17 degrees. So we can't complain about the 17 degrees, 68% relative humidity, but the barometer is dropping 1016.9. So, and it is just grey and it's just not very pleasant. Okay, a quick roundup. Friday night, I'm sure that our merry band of passage makers are not in the least bit interested in COVID around the world, but they'll be sitting there really relaxing and enjoying themselves in the anchorage, the 4 of them. But anyway, COVID, New South Wales, looks like they're going to be stuck for lockdown for at least the end of the month. They have had 97 new cases today, bringing their total to 764. There's new cases in Queensland and 6 more cases in Victoria. So things are not looking good in Australia. Fiji, now 64% of people have had their first jab, which is pretty good. They've had 5 new deaths, though. There are now over 11,000 active cases, and they've had 1,220 in the last 24 hours. Okay, moving on to a fair bit of excitement in New Zealand today. It was a day of very heavy weather in some parts and protests right throughout middle New Zealand. And when I say middle New Zealand, the average Kiwi has now had enough. There were huge protests in 55 towns and cities throughout the country today. Farmers have taken the lead. They've taken all their tractors and utes and dogs right through the main streets in the cities and in the towns, protesting about government interference, unworkable regulations, unjustified costs. It's absolutely gone absolutely berserk from this current government, and it's very, very good. In fact, amazing to see the average Kiwi person out there saying enough.
Enough communism.
Enough. Yes, well, we don't give our opinion here. We have to just report the news. Okay, calm down, David. West Germany, boy, and I say west because it is in the west. Torrential rain has flooded from various rivers. There are 1,300 people missing, 49 actually confirmed dead so far. The worst areas are Rhineland, Palatinate. I don't know, my pronunciation is going to be very good. North Rhine, Westphalia and Saarland, all on the west side. Belgium's affected too, and the eastern side of the Netherlands. They have had amazing rainfall, 100 to 150 millimetres in 24 hours. Even Cologne, they got 154 millimetres in 24 hours. So there is just a lot of water everywhere on the western side of Germany. So check up if you have a family in that area. In New Zealand, we've had really strong winds and rain buffeting the lower part of the North Island, Taranaki right through to Wellington. The heavy rain has come in the South Island, the west coast. Arthur's Pass is closed. There's surface flooding all down the west coast and in Marlborough. So I don't think any of those boats in the Marlborough Sounds, and there's quite a few of them, will be needing to run water makers for quite some time. All right, let's get on to the excitement. Free wind burst into the Bay of Islands this afternoon. They're still going, not quite at the dock yet, but they certainly had some good strong winds, 25 to 30 knots from the north to just speed them into Friday night in the bay. It will be interesting to know what customs and agriculture, etc. do, given that they are over the 14 days at sea. So hopefully they'll be looked on kindly, because I know where they would probably want to be this evening. Let's have a look at the four boats sitting comfortably together in the anchorage. Argo, Castile, Calypso, and Riverdure are in the anchorage, and Moxie has finally made the appearance again on the AIS. They are down at 1856 and 177.45, steering 336 and doing well, 7 knots. So only about 90 miles to go, and I'm sure they will be very looking forward to getting in there tomorrow. Unfortunately, I still don't have anything from Te Tukatea on the AIS. This often happens. Boats disappear if their signal is just not good enough for the satellite. They need to be around a station such as I've got here, VHF station, to be able to log where they are and have it go through the system. So we're not too concerned at this stage. They're probably still well away from any land stations on their way to Savu Savu, but hopefully all is well with Te Tukatea. And I'll certainly let a couple of their friends know if I see something. I'll be checking on the AIS over the weekend. That's it from me. Nothing much more from here. As I mentioned, we will not be on tomorrow and the next day because there's nobody at sea. So we'll just stand by here, enjoy our weekend. Not that it's going to be a very pleasant one weather-wise, and we will be back on Monday. But before that, here is David's update of the weather.
Alrighty, good afternoon again from the Gulf Harbour Radio Weather Desk. My idea tonight is to give those of you in Fiji an idea of the weekend weather. As Patricia said, we're not going to be on the air again until Monday. Now, the main feature for the Southwest Pacific is our Tasman High, which you all should know about by now. It's more or less centered over Raoul Island in the Kermadec. It's about the middle of it. Central pressure today, 1030 millibar. So we've got a very strong high producing nice fresh winds up in the tropics from Niue Tonga to Fiji to Vanuatu. The isobars are pretty tight. We're getting quite a bit of wind out of this. These are basically east-southeast winds. Now these winds are clashing with easterlies from a different high that's well to the east. Now, when we have clashing winds of different directions and different densities, we have got a very nice recipe for troughs. And that is exactly what is going on now. And you can view that quite readily on satellite imagery, as I do. I rely quite a bit on the satellite. One trough runs from Samoa to the Southern Cooks, another one from the Eastern Solomons. It skirts Vanuatu to the northeast. It goes on to Fiji, where you are now. And a third one runs from Tonga, and that goes southeastward. Now, our big high, the one that I talked about first, is going to be moving over the weekend fairly rapidly. Saturday, we'll see the center near 35 south and 160 west. So it's kicking up its heels and moving east. 1032 millibar, so it's strong. Sunday, it should be at 35 south and 150 west. So as you can see, it's trucking along to the east. Now, as an aside, we've got a very strong depression that has moved east over the Tasman. I talked about that low the last couple of days, and it's going to lie over New Zealand tomorrow. Quite frankly, hopefully, anyhow, it won't be here on Sunday, but it just might be, and that's going to mess up some plans. So on to Fiji. That trough that we talked about lies mainly over the eastern part of the group, with areas that have got a fair amount of cloud and showers. Now this trough is going to slip east over the weekend, but for now there is a strong wind warning been placed by Fiji Met in force for all Fiji waters, in fact, and according to them, expect easterlies 20 to 25 knots today and into tomorrow. Now, what I thought I'd do, I promised you weather over the weekend. So I just have the idea to read off to you what Fiji Met has got to say for a few of the areas where you may be. So everything that I say at this point is going to be from them. So looking first of all at the Suva, the Nassori area, cloudy with showers. The showers they expect are going to ease later tonight, and then cloudy with brief showers tomorrow, and quite cool at night, which you might expect with these winds coming from the southeast. The outlook for Sunday there, cloudy periods with brief showers and also cool at night. Now for the Coral Coast to the north there, Viti Levu, cloudy periods with a few showers. They'll ease and become mainly fine late tonight, and of course cool nights. And the outlook for Sunday, mainly fine and cool nights. And for the Nandi Latoka area near the Yasawa area, whatnot, fine apart from isolated afternoon and evening showers. That'll be for Saturday. And the outlook for Sunday, mainly fine and again cool at night. And for the Lambasa area, I don't think anybody is up there. I may just skip Lambasa. Well,
hang on.
I'll get Lambasa. Hang on a minute.
No, there's nobody up there. No.
Oh, no, Trish said nobody's up there, so I'll skip it. Skip Lambasa. Sabu Sabu, cloudy with showers. The showers are expected to ease a little bit later tonight. Cloudy with brief showers tomorrow. And again, cool at night. The outlook for Sunday, cloudy periods with brief showers. And moving over to the Lao area, Lomaviti group, that part of the world in Fiji, expect fresh to strong easterly winds with an average speed of, they do kilometers an hour, I just divided by 2 to get roughly knots. So about 25 to 27 knots. Not only over the southern Lao and the Lomaviti group, the winds are expected to ease later tomorrow. Elsewhere, moderate to fresh easterlies, cloudy with some showers, and the showers easing later tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy periods with brief showers, and again, cool nights. And the outlook for Sunday, cloudy periods and brief showers. And those of you that are down there in Kendavu, expect fresh to strong easterly winds with an average speed of, again, about 27 knots. Winds expected to ease later tomorrow, and elsewhere, moderate to fresh easterly winds. I'm not sure what they mean when they give you Kendavu and they say elsewhere, but anyway, that's what they say. Cloudy with some showers. This will be for Saturday. Actually, no, for now. And showers are expected to ease later tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy periods with brief showers. And again, cool nights. And the outlook for Sunday, fine apart from brief showers. And there's nobody up in Rotuma, but in any case, the trough is sitting up there. This is me talking now, and a strong wind warning is certainly in force for that area. Now, hang on one second. Okay, what I thought I would do, just for the heck of it, is these winds I'm going to give you are basically from me, not Fiji Met Service. So I'm looking at tomorrow, and I pretty much am in agreement with what they've got to say. Most of the winds are easterly, a good 20 knots, good average 20 knots. Now, again, when they give these sort of winds, you know the drill. They may say 20 knots, but you can give 5 knots either way of that, and gusts could be 40 to 50% higher, particularly if there's a thunderstorm about or something like that. So that's pretty much Saturday for virtually all of the group that I could see, but there are wind shadows to the west of Viti Levu and Vanua Levu. So close in, much less wind, I would say, in the neighborhood of 15 knots or maybe even less. Looking at Sunday now, again, this is my part of the forecast. If you were to look at Sabu Sabu and draw a straight line north-south, west of that line, I'm thinking you're going to see about 15 knots of wind as an average, even lighter in the wind shadow areas, maybe 10 knots, 15 knots, maybe not even that. So that's pretty much the average there. Now, east of that line, the winds do pick up, and they'll be up to 20 knots. So that's Sunday. And yeah, well, that's your weekend for you. So we'll tell you what's going on Monday.
Well, you won't, because it'll be Monday night, so you need to.
I'll talk about Monday. Okay. Monday, things are fairly light throughout the group. I would say the winds are going to be mostly out of the east-southeast, although there's some strange areas. I think around Kandabo you might even see east-northeast, but they'll be 15 knots roughly. And in the western areas of Viti Levu, I'd say southeast winds, very light air, anywhere from 5 knots up to 15 knots. We'll call it 5 to 10. Batuira Pass, a little breezy in there. Normally is going through Batuira, and we'll call that 20 knots. And then, yes, up around the Lao and Vanu Levu, east-southeast, and we'll call it 15 knots. So that's what it looks like for Monday. So there you go. I don't know if you like this sort of thing on a Friday to give what Fiji Met has to say and a little bit of my own interpretation. But get some feedback. Give us some feedback if you want me to continue that. And we'll go from there. And here's the chief.
Yeah, presumably a lot of you will get that on Fiji's very cheap phone/internet system. And I see that some boats are not even moving around. Fusio and Shainu must have forgotten how to operate their windlass, I think. They're still in the same spot, but there are the odd ones moving to and fro. I haven't got anybody on the AIS in Kingavu. All right, is there anybody wanting to say hello, goodbye, or whatever? Tell us anything? Please call us now.
Hello.
Sounds like Charles on Vingalot. Might be a bit windy for nice clear water in Vianney Bay, Charles. How's things over?
So Vianney Bay is actually been pleasant, although we had earlier this morning some gusts of wind, which are not 30 knots, but it's a settled evening tonight as the sun passes, and members of the crew have been on their dive course and are progressing well, so everybody's very happy, and been ashore for a little bit of relaxation and back on board. So it's been very good. Over.
What are your winds now?
Hey, you said that's pretty calm now. What are the winds at the moment, Charles?
Oh, no more than about 12 knots in the bay. We're quite protected, actually. We do get the odd gust that makes its way either in the center of the hill or down the mountain. But otherwise, things are pretty good. Over.
Yeah, I had looked you not tied down. I've sort of tucked into the side there, so I guess that we would be quite protected in a lot of winds. Okay, oh well, sounds like, yeah, it's good to have diving skills. Stay with them for the rest of their lives. It's quite useful. Okay, well, enjoy the weekend. Ours is not going to be very good here throughout the country, I don't think. So we'll clear with Vingalot. Thanks for that, Charles. Is there anybody else?
Ask him if he wants that sort of thing regarding dealing with the weather, Fiji weather.
Yeah, nothing heard. I thought we might have heard from one or two of the boats that have arrived, but they're probably too busy having some cold beers. And Charles, if you could let us know if sort of a roundup like this is useful or whether it's all pretty easily available by everybody I think probably at least 50% of boats would have good access to internet, although there are some very out of the way spots, so that might be useful for them. But anyway, let us know, Charles, if you wouldn't mind. Over.
Certainly, I enjoy it. Where we are at the moment, there is very good internet access, and so it's easy to pull that data down. Other than that, of course, there's just virtually no contact. And so that information would be very valuable in the Southern Lao. And we know that when we were in, anyway, one of the other islands we've been in, we had no internet access, so actually the weather report was most welcome. So I reckon it's worth keeping up. Although I am amazed at how many people who don't actually use the SSDs at all, and some who've actually removed them. Over.
Yes, we can't believe it, but it was interesting yesterday. We were trying to find information on T. Tupatia, who has no single sideband on board. His AIS is not registering. He did issue a EPIRB a couple of days ago because of major leaks, but he then was able to cancel that after he found the source of the leaks. But when he did contact the RCC to cancel his emergency, but then the next day the comms just failed on the satellite. So relying on satellite for communications, we had it when we were about, but in every situation that we needed to pass on any information or whatever, the SSB was so much more reliable. And I know that when people call here en route using their sat phones, it's really, really difficult. They fade in and out, so it's quite risky if you are saying that there's 40 knots of southwest wind and they don't hear that south, they only hear the west or whatever. It is not a good reliable way of communications. But yes, you're right. Talking to the people that leave the country, the guys that run the system for checking, 50% of the boats now probably don't use the single sideband. So I think it's something that is, well, unless you're radio-minded, I suppose, it is a little bit of a difficult thing to add to everything else. But
what
anyway,
areas would be useful?
Okay, David's right back here now, asking what areas, and it sounds like certainly the Lao, because they are not on a decent system. If you come across any other areas, maybe the Yasawas are pretty sort of sparse. We'd probably cover that, but just have a think about it, everybody, anybody that's listening. If there are areas that are not covered by internet for accessing weather and you can't get it yourselves for some reason, then just let us know. Then that will give David some guidance and avoid having to go through areas that are just too boring for you to listen to. So that was long-winded over, wasn't it? So thanks for that, Charles. And if there is nobody else, we will shut it down. And everybody have a very pleasant weekend. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, standing by a couple of minutes before we close down.
One last comment, Patricia.
Go ahead.
So I was talking to John on Windflower, and they have organised the Bulla rendezvous, right? And they do not have an SSB on board at all. And coincidentally, their Iridium Go has failed, and so they've actually come up from the Southern Lao because they had no communication. So there we go. That's the proof that you do need the second communication. But it's quite interesting that if you lead a group, like the Bulla rendezvous group, and you as the example, if you like, have no SSD, that really does set the tone. Over.
Yes, I'm very surprised that they don't have an SSB. I think they used to have one on board. Yeah. must have failed and they got rid of it. But I don't know how you could organise people without one, to be honest. Yeah, thanks for that. I did see them move out, so that's the cause. All right. Thanks, Charles, for the background, and you guys have a good weekend and hopefully get some opportunities at some stage to test out those underwater skills. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Patricia and David. Have a good weekend. Speak to you on Monday.